This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted to be joined today by legendary Cuban trainer, teacher, Ismael Salas. We're here in Las Vegas at Linares Gym. Ismael, nice to see you again.
Very
I
nice
hope you're well.
See you one more time. I feel very glad. I feel very glad. And yes, to see you guys around one more time. And you know, the environment right here, we're training with Joe Joyce. It's a very positive thing, you know, very good vibe. And we go for what we have to do.
It's very nice to see you too. It's the first time I've seen you in a couple of years now, since you were in London with David Hay and obviously Jorge Linares. You're now working again with Joe Joyce, but we will talk about that soon. But before we talk about that, let's go back and let's talk about you. We've never done this, where we've spoken about your career, your extensive career. Tell me a little bit about how it started. How did Ismael Salas become involved in boxing?
So I originally from Guantanamo, Cuba. So I grew up only 2 blocks away from the only gym, boxing gym in that time. And I started to follow boxing like a 9-year-old. I started to do some boxing, and at the same time I was in the school, and then I went to the physical education college. I made my degree there in the physical education college, and then went to the university for master degree in sport and science. So I complete, and then I started to work with the Guantanamo team. So in that time we have like a 3-time Olympic gold medal Felix Savon and Joel Casamayor, Rogelio Marcelo, and so many other fighters. We was in Cuba like the best boxing team in Cuba, Guantanamo. So everything starts from there, no? And about professional life, everything started after the 1992 Barcelona Olympics. I decided to not go back to Cuba. I moved to Thailand. My professional boxing life started in Thailand. I made my family there in Thailand, made like a 6 professional world champion, and working for the Thai national team. They have Olympic gold medal, Sonchit Chonchoho, and they have a few silver and bronze medal. And just keep going and being in Japan, in Thailand, Japan, and Pakistan, in North Korea, in Mexico, in London, in Germany. So it's been it's a big, long journey. Been a long journey in boxing. I'm always learning something.
It's a long journey that's taken you to various different countries and continents around the world. But what was it that made you start your journey? Obviously, Cuba has such a rich history about boxing. What was it that made you start boxing?
Yeah, soon after I got my master's degree, I started to work with the AIBA, the amateur boxing, giving a boxing coaching seminar in different countries. And I started to get involved in the Olympic program. In that time, if you remember right, after 1988, they started to introduce the score system. They start to use the headgear, the laws change, and many rules been changing after 1998. It was all the evolution of the boxing, because in the past I can call like it was amateur boxing. After 92 Olympic became Olympic boxing. So the rule changed, and many things been changing. But at the end, I was involved in the amateur, and then I started professional. What I say, and yeah, I've been doing good in Japan. Most of the country in Australia I've been to. So in total now I have been working with 24 world champions. And just keep working. And if we keep working, it's my dream to make Joe Joyce a heavyweight champion of the world. Only we need to keep working, hard working, but it's good.
What does boxing mean in Cuba?
No, in Cuba, actually, Cuba is very, very rich in all sport. All sport. It's like a mentality because because of Cuba, the system, we don't have so much entertainment to go to play game. So we have to do a sport. Sport is everything there. So someone go to boxing, same as me. Someone go to basketball. Someone go to swimming. All and they are very good. The system is very good. The system, sports system. I mean, sports system. It's like a pyramid where you create the basis, very strong basis in Cuba, and then they start to go from the like a schoolboy, a junior. So I've been through the old system, the sports system. So we've been learning a lot. I really, I got a great knowledge from that time. My time to move to professional is the way I start to make my conversion from amateur style to professional. It's different game. I'm so happy to be around professional boxing. It's so many life we change through boxing. No, it's not only to get the world champion. If not, it's the process. The many fighters were coming from the struggling family and all these things. So to be a part of whole change, like you saw Jorge Linares, when he came to us, he was like 3 losses. He was training with Freddy Roach in that time. He came with 3 losses mentally, because not only you lost the fight, even your mentality to be a fighter is a breakdown. So to build this need a process. So I'm more than happy to see him in the next level. To see him now he can be Hall of Fame one day. He got more than 55 already, and his life changed. Look, I am using his gym because my gym was to close last month because of they sold the beauty. So I talked to him, and by coincidence he was requesting to be back to train with me because of in his future he planned to fight with Ryan Garcia. In case not, and then there have to be another option, can be Luke Campbell. Just talking, it's nothing official, but I am more than happy to bring him back. And for me, no problem. In boxing, I never take anything for personal. Nothing is personal. One thing I try to all my fighters be free. Be free. Freedom is a beautiful thing in life. So if it's decision, we are today what we decide yesterday. So if he is back, and I'm more than welcome.
You mentioned Jorge coming to you after those 3 stoppage losses. We've spoken back when you were in London briefly off camera about you, as you've mentioned there, his mental side of his game. He has a lot of talent, but his mental side needed work on. What did you do to improve the mental side of him? How did he change as a fighter under your guidance?
Okay, what I say is, sorry, it's a process. I've been through a process. I always push this kind of fighter to the limits. When I mean the limits, for example, when he came to me, he was jumping, and then I say, unfortunately, they tried to install one style. It was not suited for Jorge. I remember he was training together with Manny Pacquiao. So Manny Pacquiao, because he's so explosion, he jumped 2-3 times, bounced 2-3 times, and then hit. Jorge, they try to install their program, but for him that doesn't suit. And then what I say, man, you are South America, you are Venezuela. No matter what, you cannot change your DNA. You are Venezuelan. As a Venezuelan, you have to be flat-footed as he is. You have to work with the different angles as you do. And from then, we start. And then the turning point for Linares was in the, we've been through a few sparring. Like, I never forget what I can call his turning point. It was when we sparred Sheriff Borgere, former world champion. Sheriff, the first day, pushed him, and he was, I don't mean scared, but no confidence. No confidence to take him over. And then soon he finished their sparring. He came to me, and I blew out the way I blew up all the way. I started to swear and remind him his mother, his father, his grandmother, his grandfather, everything. And I say, okay, let's make a deal. I will match you another sparring day after tomorrow. If you not knocking out him in the sparring, I will tell Mr. Honda, I will not work with you. So I put him in the situation, he have to decide. So in that day, and no mean, but he took over. He took out the guy. So for me, it's a turning point because he break, because it's a mental thing, He break the limits. I say, you are to the limits, your own limits. If you can go more than your limit, and then you can be successful. So it was a process, and like this he started knocking out, sparring, and then I knew he saw in training, and now I can tell you where was his turning point in fight. Everybody in England saw the fight, Kevin Mitchell fight. Kevin Mitchell fight, he got dropped, but real rock. Kevin Mitchell rocked the boat. But he was so confident, destined to the situation. Then, after he is on top of Kevin Mitchell, and they stopped the fight. So to me, as a training with Sheriff Borgere, as a fighter with Kevin Mitchell. So it was a process, It took 2 or 3 years working hard all the way, because personality. His personality is a very calm guy. He don't like the confrontation. Never ever he like any kind of confrontation. So, and he's a great talent. I believe the only one can beat Vasily Lomachenko is Jorge Linares. Unfortunately, the day he fought with Lomachenko, I was not in his corner. I don't say because of me, no. I can say this. But what he missed that time, it was the push. To take him out of the comfort zone. Because if you compare the drop of Lomachenko when he got dropped, at the drop from Kevin Mitchell was harder. Real rock. Kevin Mitchell real rock him. Chin. And Lomachenko is body chop. Anyway, he after that, Lomachenko lost. It been a process again to reinstall everything, And I am so happy that his last fight, he can say solid. He's confident back. We met in December, last December, we met there in Japan. And he showed me all his sparring, because I like to do homework always. And I was watching his position. I love position. If you see wherever I go, line, because I love position. And we made the adjustment where he's sending me, and I sending him back, giving feedback to him, whatever he's doing. It was a beautiful last fight. I really admire the way he dropped the guy. It's the best combination. His right is like a thunder, lightning. So he's back. So I am more than happy. And he asked me for the next fight, whoever, we can work together. I say, okay, welcome, more than welcome.
Let's just touch upon that. I spoke to you after you and Jorge decided to not work together before the Linares fight. We spoke, but I haven't spoken about it on camera. How did it make you feel? First of all, I know that you've already said in this interview you don't take anything personally, but considering what you went through as trainer and fighter, what was it like for you to not be there with him in the biggest fight of his career and to see that and to see him to lose the fight?
Yeah, very, very sad. I really, I never forget. I cried. My wife, my boy, we crying together watching that fight because of, unfortunately, what happened with that fight. If you remember right, he fought with Mercito Gesta at the end of January, and then he took the break. But I have to be in the David Hay corner because David Hay fight postponed. It was in December, and then postponed to May 5th somewhere. So when he got the fight with Lomachenko, I was in London, and then he called me, and then I say, man, you coming over? We keep the same thing we did when we trained with Luke Campbell. We go even Luke Campbell trainer was Jorge Rubio. He's my friend, and then we've been talking. If I because Lomachenko is southpaw, and I said the best sparring partner is Luke Campbell, and they say no problem. But and then he say, no, I like to train in Las Vegas. Is what I say. Unfortunately, we are today what we decided yesterday. And then we can realize if wrong or right just today. Sometimes it's late. So, really, it hurt me, not personally. I came as a trainer, no? Because we've been working so hard, to rebuild what I brought him to the point. I kind of person I am no like a kind of selfishness. I don't think I am the best. I never think, never in my mind, without me, no one can do anything. No. We working together. I got my talent as a trainer, and he as a boss. Many fighters come to me with all their talent, and then I use my teaching, my experience, everything to get the best. Like I call it always, it's a 50-50, halfway. We need to meet in the halfway, and then we can make 100. So in that time, I was dying when I knew. I feel so sorry because I got the real formula to beat that guy. I got the real formula, but I'm sorry. I say, okay, life is life.
As a trainer, does that excite you to be able to have a fighter to fight somebody like Lomachenko, to have to work out the puzzle?
Yeah, in every field of life is challenging, always challenging. And as long we can challenge any opposition, we can go upward or backward, depend on us. So to have a fight like this, like one example, no? Now Joe Joyce came to me. We go for Dubois. It's a big challenge. I know the guy is very talented, he's young, he's hungry, he's strong, but it's my dream to beat the challenge. That's it. I love it. I'm crazy. I doing already my homework every night. Every night I doing my homework. So one thing Mr. Dubois need to understand, I'm mentioning every step of him. And he will face the best of Joe Joyce.
How is Joe different, if at all, than he was when you first had him? Because since then he's gone to Abel Sanchez, he's gone to Adam Booth. Is he much different now? Do you think it will be not difficult, but is it an extra challenge that he's gone away?
Is what I was telling you before. I seen Joe Joyce like a big hard disk. For me to work with him is just programming. Today, day one of sparring, I was surprised. We start to install some drill. For me, I love to do everyday drilling. As you know, I need to work with he missed the coordination because he got a huge body, so he need to be very highly coordinated. Many people see him from the day one, like people said, telling me, no, he's so slow but no, one guy can dance capoeira with his side, his way, can flip over with his side, his way. You got something special. And I don't care what people say. The only I care, I need to find his specialty. It's all about.
When you look at Daniel Dubois, I'm sure, obviously, you're going to say Joe Joyce will win the fight, but do you see a potential future world champion in Daniel Dubois?
Yeah, really. He's very talented. My respect. And I've been seeing since he pro debut somewhere, and he been improving. Fight by fight, been improving. One thing for real, no? He don't have yet the right opposition. He been fighting, okay, that's fine, building his record and getting more experience. But we cannot take away his talent. He got a huge jab, one of the best heavyweight left jab, very good. And his right is amazing. So the power is for heavyweight, is the size for heavyweight. And still now, I see no problem with chin. But I say, no, okay, style make a fight. Target now will be beat the quest. You know what I mean? And I love it. I am crazy for it. Just beat the quest. How is the quest? We go for it. That's why we go to school. When we go to school, for some reason, always question. We need to beat the question and find the answer. I don't see the problem. I look for solution.
From the time that I've spent in the gym with you and watching you train fighters and work with fighters, and the time that I've seen you with fighters on TV and over the years, how important is distance control to you and finding angles to punch, and also finding angles for defense? How important is that to your training philosophy?
Yeah, in my training philosophy, the worst punch in boxing is the one you can see. So I started from we as a human, we are utmost perfect machine. But in size, we have some missing point. Our size as a human, they have some blind spot. And when I talking about the angles, when I talking about all the line, things like that, is how we find the blind spot. It's a key. For me, it's a key. So most of my fighters always working with the angles. When we go because we are already in world class, we have to look what is the strong of my opponent, what is the strong point, the strong hand. Sometimes hand is okay, but feet is not okay. You know what I mean? That's why I doing my homework with all my fighter opponents. This for me is important. I start to watch. I love biomechanics. I love it. Biomechanics is how the human body works. Synergy. Creating energy through their own rotation. So it's part of the daily training, daily drills, daily training to get what we like to get.
You said something in this interview, and it's something that you've said in interviews that you've done in the past with myself and other people that you've done written articles with. Explain to me the difference between different cultures and different fighters from different regions. You've worked in Pakistan, you've worked in Thailand, in Japan, you've worked obviously in Cuba, in London, you've dealt with fighters from all around the world. Explain the difference between the different continents, the different fighters from them, and what you've learned from working in these different countries.
Yeah, for example, let's say we have 5 continents. So let's say from the 5 continents, South America, because of the DNA, there is the mixed blood with the African, with the Spanish. So they got the rhythm, very rhythmic fighters. And if you come into North America, let's say United States and Canada, there are more because actually a more classic style. But in United States, if you look United States, they have the Midwest style and the West Coast style and East Coast style. East Coast, they have more South American. West Coast, more Mexican. Midwest is a pure African American, slicking, all the things. If you go to Canada, there are more, they like to base in the power, more flat-footed and more, they're basing in the power. Same in South America, if you see the Argentinian, they are more flat-footed than Venezuelan, Colombian, Cuban, Mexican. So, like that in Europe, one example, Europe, they have East Europe and West Europe. So let's say about the East Europe, like the former Soviet Union, Communist bloc, they are more stiff, there are more, they create a style like more, what I can say, like computer, like robotic, exactly, robotic. In the West, they're more flexible. For example, I saw the British fighters, the 2 seasons. They have 1 season where there was more straight, but now they have the new generation. It's a multiple. They are more flexible. You can find guys with the big power. You can find guys moving and punching, and you can find guys just move forward. Asia, because they are a small weight class, they're throwing more combination, and yet they're coming one way go, one way out. They have in Asia, you have in the north of Asia, China, Korea, Japan, but you have Southeast Asia, Philippine fighters, Thai, then you go down to Indonesia, let's say, Australia. You have Australian, and you have down there the New Zealand. So different. So in Africa, like West Africa, they're more like more slicky. And you have the North Africa. It's different, so different. So we actually, how I start to learn all these things before I start to have the experience. I remember my time in Cuba national team. They were very well. They made like a structure. They have. I remember when anytime we go to any championship, they have a block. Okay, let's say the World Championship in Germany. Okay, Suppose because it's a hometown, we need to face this kind of a style. So to this kind of a style, we need to move, we need to keep head of line, with, so every time the World Championship go to any Olympics, go to any of the continent, so the fundamentals of the training change. This is Cuba. This is beautiful. So I learned from that, but it was just amateur. And then after I learned like a professional way, So in professional, I'm lucky. I feel blessed. I've been working with different style, professional style, and I try to make the transition from amateur to professional. We have a few, like a Cuban fighter, very good amateur, like 2000 Olympics. I have Rubens Ramirez. He got the first loss, not with me. He was with somebody else. And the second bout, we won by stop the guy in the round 4 somewhere. And next Friday, we will fight. So to make those guys transition is hard. Very hard because of the Olympic style. You know what I mean? So I did one who made Gamboa, I did one who made Rigondeaux, I did one who made Barthélemy, Robesi, so a few Cubans around. It been helping me to get achieve more, enrich my experience, because they are so good. They are very, very well programmed. But for me, I need to reprogram, because they try to be more in the heel, no flat-footed, they're jumping, and it's the way I've been doing with them. And I work with the Japanese. I have the 4th division world champion, the super flyweight. Always one thing in boxing, you have to separate. You cannot have one program for everyone. You have to go more individual. Very clear, like Joe Joyce, when he came to me, I make a quest how I can bring that guy to the next level, we did. He came now, and I see he got a new tools, because we say Abel Sanchez provide him the some tools, no doubt. Adam Booth, his tool too, because it's what I always say. I have to give a respect to every coach, every trainer. Everyone have their own book, And now Jojo is bringing a few tools. So what I have to do just to not delete, keeping my own way, the way I'm thinking, but using the best of them. And then we will get a better version of Joe Joyce.
I think I know the answer to this, but is there a specific style, region that you prefer to work with, that you like to work with more than any other?
Actually, what I prefer, I love a style with power. This is I try to go to the classic way and get this style, but with power, So it's my way, So sometimes when you got guys with the very highly technique, not much power. And some fighters have very, very powerful and heavy-handed, and then no technique. So what we try to do is, I love to mix. One example, Linares. This is a clear example. It's amazing. It's like a symphony. You put together all the tools, and then it's a weapon. So it's my own style. What I try to make from fighter.
You mentioned Roberto Ramirez, obviously double Olympic champion, world champion as an amateur. Where does he compare talent-wise, and how good do you think he can become compared to the likes of Rigondeaux, Gamboa, Linares, and these elite fighters that you've worked with? How talented is he?
Okay, he is a very, very talented, really. And I compare him in the level of Rigondeaux. But now I need to solve the big quest, his mentality as professional. His mentality as professional. He got the tools amazing. When he dropped his hand, he is amazing. Amazing. But still, he don't have this killing mind. Too nice. It's what I say always. It's good to be nice, but it's not good to be too nice. So it's a process. This is a big process we have now, and then I try to give the total confidence, self-confidence. You have to do what you have to do. I say to him like, okay, you got a two Olympic gold medal, but I think in your future you like to be a Hall of Fame of boxing. Not because you've been two-time Olympic gold. This is just the beginning. But the end, you have to be one of the best world champions, if you like. Because one thing I say to every one of them, remember what I tell you. I'm just a trainer. I am no magician. To be a great fighter, you need dedication in every minute. Every minute you have to be dedicated. This is the Cuban situation. All the Cuban fighters for the system very well. They don't need to think. They don't need to worry. Even for hand wrap, they don't need to worry. Anything, nothing. And the worst of it, after they get the gold medal, just clapping, hasta la vista. It's no reward. So they lost the motivation. So the motivation for the Cuban boxing is more social and politics than the personal motivation. I need to be a world champion because I need to make money, and with this money I can take care of my family. They will take care of your family. You know what I mean? So it's nothing around there.
Is that what we see with some Cuban fighters who then go professional? I mean, we see it with Odlania Solis, Mike Perez, and other Cuban fighters who, when they leave Cuba, you mentioned they don't have to worry. They're in the system. They know what's going to happen. But when they go, they have the freedom, go into places like Miami, where there are distractions,
yes,
and they lose the motivation. Do you think that comes from growing up in Cuba, which is relatively humble backgrounds, and going to somebody in Miami and getting $1 million purses? Is that what you think the difference is?
Yes, of course, because it's what I say, personal motivation. It's social motivation and personal motivation. Two different sides. And then, for example, let's say, because I've been through the same transition. I was from Cuba. When I went to professional, I started to change my mind. I had to think, I need to build myself. The good luck for me, it was that I went to Thailand, I don't know anyone, and I have two ways, of fail or succeed. And I choose to succeed. I have a good luck. I said to many people, my best of luck was Angelo Dundee. He changed my life as a professional. He gave me the right tools. He gave to me the right things, and I got at the right time. Because everything I have now as a professional is Angelo Dundee. He's the one who turned over my way of see boxing.
We've mentioned his name in this interview, Guillermo Rigondeaux, who's somebody that you worked with throughout your extensive career, and how talented was he, and how is he, and how was it training somebody like him?
Rigondeaux? Yes, man. For example, I many times I can take punch from any fighter, heavyweight, and sometimes pain, sometimes no pain. But with Rigondeaux, the first time he hit me in the chest, I was with the shell protection. He squeezed my heart like it was dying. He hit me in the right spot. Rigondeaux is unfortunately, many people blame him, but his age is against. He has so much talent. Like you saw the last fight, the way he moved, but already he started to get rust. On many years, he got more than 600 amateur fight, 2-time Olympic gold medal, professional fight, up and down. But for example, I see his best point in his professional life was when he beat Nonito Donaire. Nonito Donaire in that time was the boxer of the year. And sadly going and they picked up Rigondeaux, wrong choice. He was the best. I think it was the prime of Rigondeaux. Then after that, next fight he looked terrible. You know?
Is that again the motivation that we spoke about before?
Exactly, yes, motivation and distraction. When you got a social motivation, you can get distracted. Because your target is just to be a social. But when you got a personal motivation, he puts you and make you to work to the limits.
Is there one story about your time with Rigondeaux that sticks out in your head?
Yes. The story with me and Rigondeaux was the first day. I remember I said, oh motherfucker, he hit me, he squeezed my heart, I feel like a dying. And I knew his talent. One thing with Rigondeaux in my time with him, it was hard to make him a spar. He doesn't like sparring. So he's a kind of guy, I think he don't need sparring to get where he like to be. So every fighter, they have their own. That's why he already been for long and still stay there around. He won last fight. Someone like maybe say boring, but it was a master class, and he won.
Do you think we ever saw the best of him as a professional, or was when he was a professional he's already past his best?
Yeah, he passed his best. Definitely, he passed his best. He came already with so many amateur fights. And what I say, the best of him was when he beat Nonito. He was his prime, the best of him. After that, up and down, no good opposition. But I think Nonito was his real deal. And Nonito proved. Look what Nonito did to... Yeah, everybody can see what Nonito did to Inoue. It was amazing. So, Nonito is a warrior. Yes, and Nonito is a great, the mentality, very professional. This is the big difference. Is what made Nonito new guy. Second wheel. Because his motivation is not social. His motivation is personal. That's the way he can take care of his family.
Got a couple of more fighters I'd like to talk to you about. One of them, Gamboa. You used to train Yuriorkis Gamboa's father. Is that right?
Exactly. Back in Cuba, he used to be my fighter. I was the head coach of Guantanamo, and he was one of my fighters. And by coincidence, when Gamboa born, we took care of him. And so I saw Gamboa. It's funny, no? I saw Gamboa when he was just a kid, very, very young. And I saw Gamboa after many years in 2003 World Championship in Thailand. And then my fighter beat Gamboa, and I was shocked. But I had to take care of my own. What I can say. It's funny what happened in the 2003 World Championship. We kicked a few Cubans, my fighter, and then the Cuban blamed me. But what I can say, I take care of my business. I'm very serious in my business. No matter what, in my corner, I will be loyal to my corner. I don't care who is in the opposite corner. No, I represent my corner with all men.
What was the standout feature of Gamboa? Was it his punching power, his feet, his brain?
His explosion is amazing explosion, and Gamboa. But this is what I say, no? We need to find out where is Gamboa, where is every fighter. Good thing, no? I remember when Gamboa started to work with me, they called me. I was in Australia with Danny Green in that time. He was in Germany. I went there, and then I started to see him training. And then I said, man, your reach, your arm very short. And then they say to him in that time, you have to keep your hand high. But how come? You cannot take your hand down, up. You have to take your hand down. And then he looked me like this. And then he said, so how I can defend? I said, with your feet. You cannot see this so much explosion in your feet. You can go in and out. So the way we training, it was just feet explosion. So Gamboa was amazing. Unfortunately, always happened the same thing. The ego kill talent. Too much ego kill talent. So unfortunately, Gamboa been through before. Last fight him with me was he was a Mexican. It was in Atlantic City. We fought there, and then we separate. We separate there, and then past time, and then he faced Crawford. It was in the back. Happened to me. The same thing happened with Linares Lomachenko. I was like watching this fight. My heart was like, because I love all my fighters. I love it. I love them. I respect them. I love them. I try to get always from them the best. That's it.
And the final Cuban fight I'd like to speak to you about is arguably what you're most well known for. The great Felix Savon,
Yeah.
Cuban heavyweight, legendary Cuban heavyweight, 3-time Olympic gold medalist. When did you first meet Felix Savon?
Okay, it was in my time when I was in Cuba. In Cuba happened, it was the last part of Theophilus Stevenson boxing life, no? And Cuba government make a plan to create the future of Stevenson, no? So they say in Cuba to all head coach, different state, no? Okay, the one who bring more heavyweight, we get point. So in the tournament, we get extra point for heavyweight. We bring 3 heavyweight, extra point, because they try to find out the future of Theophilus Stevenson, no? So someone say to me, hey man, in rowing, they have one boy, only 14 years, man. He's a huge guy, and this and that. And then I went there. Then I saw, wow, it was like a horse. His muscle, like a horse. He was from rowing. Okay? I say, hey, how's it going, boy? What are you doing? Oh, I am doing good. I say, you like to be the Nines Theophilus Stevenson? He say, me? I say, why not? Look at you, only 14 years. Look at your size. You can do it.
Okay, sorry, we had to change a card there. We've got Sky Sports with us, so moving on with Savon. How do you think he would have fared against the other great heavyweights of the 80s and the 90s? Your Lennox Lewis's, your Mike Tyson's, your Evander Holyfield's?
Right. Actually, in that time, his prime time, anyone. I remember in 92 Olympics in Barcelona, no? We used to hang around, Savon and myself, and Holyfield went with the Dubois, his manager, no? Lou Dubois? Lou Dubois. And they made interview because Savon not speak English. I tried to communicate, and they told to Savon, you can have a sign-up bonus $2 million. And Savon said, no, I don't need money. I need my people. That's okay. And that time I did not tell him I know back to Cuba because he was a communist, Savon. And he was happy with the system, no? He was happy to be just gold medal. For real, look, 1988, if Cuba go to the 98 Olympics, Savon already was ready for gold medal. So he came 4-time Olympic, but unfortunately Cuba did not go to 1988, so they have to change.
Is that a regret for you not seeing what he was capable of?
Yeah.
Is that a regret for you not seeing what he could have potentially achieved in the professional game? I mean, you said that you feel he could have beaten anybody. Do you feel like we were robbed of that as a sport?
Man, this guy, they have a physical talent. He has everything. Power, technique. He got everything. And if only he doesn't like to go to professional, that's it. But I believe if he changed to professional, of course, it's a process and big guy, you know. But he can, in that time, any one of them.
Who wins, Felix Savon or Teofilo Stevenson?
Teofilo Stevenson, in my own view, because I've been even training together back there, and he was a classic. He was like a Picasso. Technique with power. Savon was a rough power. Savon was, I always say to Savon, he was like a horse. He just go. He don't care what. One time, I remember in one championship, he was with me in the corner. He throw one right, and he missed, and he go out of the ring. Everybody laughed. He was a horse. Stevenson, different. Stevenson was a classic heavyweight. Beautiful 1-2 and left uppercut. It was like a Picasso. And I remember my time, I was very young at that time. He was amazing. Jorge Stevenson, to me, is the best Cuban heavyweight in amateur. They have Roberto Balado. He got the gold medal in 92, Barcelona. He was amazing too. But unfortunately, they have a car accident. He passed away.
Final question, because Sky Sports are really desperate to speak to you. I didn't realise they were waiting. Final question. Anthony Joshua, he apparently reached out to you to train him potentially. What can you tell me about that? Obviously, before his rematch with Andy Ruiz, what can you clarify?
I like to make clear, no one from Joshua camp talked to me directly. No. He was one guy talked to him if I can train Joshua. By coincidence, Memo Heredia said, because Memo Heredia from time to time work with me, and he speak out. Not that Joshua will come to me, but we don't have any. If he say to me something, I always welcome. I love to work, not because of Joshua, because I love the challenge. This is all for me. This is always challenging. Will be nice. I think he's a great heavyweight. And if one day I have to work, I have to work. That's it.
Okay, well, Ismael Salas, thank you very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Always a pleasure. So glad we've done this. Go and speak to Sky Sports before they tell me off.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.